I'm married now, but like back in my single days, people be like, she's only fucking you because you're a dwarf. Great. Why is that a problem? Why? What? Like, is the orgasm not as good? Like, oh, I'm being exploited. Like, I don't know. That's fine. It's fine.
Believe it.
Please welcome to the stage my fellow short king, the hilarious Brad Williams.
Hello.
How you doing? Thanks for being here.
Yes, thanks for. Which one do I sit on?
Right here.
Yes.
Come
No.
sit here.
Wait. When you say fellow short king, how tall are you?
I am. Well, I'm 5'6".
Go fuck yourself. Fellow short king.
What?
He knows what it's like. I am 4 foot goddamn 4. I would do horrible things behind a dumpster to be 5'6".
I wish it would work. Because I'd let you, you know?
Gay men love me because I have small hands. Everything looks bigger.
All right. Now look, every week we pitch ideas. Our writers pitch ideas based on the work of our guests. Mm-hmm. And they were a little nervous about suggesting ideas based on your special because you talk a lot about dealing with dwarfism.
Sure.
And you have a fair number of short jokes in the special.
I do. Well, because like when I started doing stand-up comedy, I didn't mention it at all. And I just noticed that the audience would just stare at me like, does he know? Yeah, I'm aware. So then I just started to address it more, and I think I've wrung about every dwarf joke I can out of this thing. Like, so I'm very curious as to what your writers came up with.
Well, we'll get there. Now, in the special, you said you don't like the term short king.
Yeah, because it's like, it just sounds like you're calling me a chess piece. Like, you're the short king, and it's like our only references to short kings are like Lord Farquaad and Shrek, and no one liked that fucker. So to me, it doesn't sound like too much of a compliment.
Okay. I'm okay. Now, one thing you talk about in the special is you talk about Dylan Mulvaney's Bud Light ad.
Yeah.
And like that, you don't care that why, you know, great that Dylan Mulvaney get a Bud Light, because if a trans person, if they're letting marginalized people get Bud Light commercials, they'll let other marginalized people, like you pointing at yourself.
Yeah, I could be a Bud Light spokesperson. I truly feel like I could, you know, just like, because now like obviously alcoholism is very serious. And you put a dwarf in a commercial and be like, drink Bud Light. It only gets you a little drunk. If you say that, everyone's like, oh, I can have 4 and still drive. Don't do that. Don't do that.
So I was going to pitch on that a little. Someone's like, I'm a little drunk. And they cut to you and you're like, no, I'm a little drunk.
Yeah. Dwarf spokesperson for Bud Light. It's Bud Light. Light. Yeah, exactly. He finished the joke.
He did great.
Yeah.
Now, one thing you talk about in the special is about, partly because of what happened with Bud Light, is that like every company should have just a hardcore ideology.
Yeah. I want that. Because like, because now it's like you don't know where companies stand. I want every company in the world to just be like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're about. Because then you would get like products that like, you're like, should I buy this thing? It's like, no, we're doing conservative tampons. We are hardcore conservative right-wing tampons. It's not just your blood that's red. It is hardcore. Like, that would be so great if just cards on the table, every company was just like, this is what we're doing.
So one thing that did bug me about it is like you do no, and I think no bad ideas in a brainstorm, but but like, you know, you talk about people basically they don't want politics from a lot of their products, but you do some both sides work.
Sure.
But one thing that I was thinking about is that like I appreciated what you said, that like you're happy that Bud Light is getting behind someone like Dylan Mulvaney. Yeah. And what I was thinking about when you were talking about the way in which, you know, people don't want politics in their products, there is a difference, right? Like that the reason the right reacts so negatively to say someone like Dylan Mulvaney is they don't that there is a big group of people in this country that say, hey, I don't approve of that person living the way they want to live.
Yeah.
And on the other side, I do think you talk, that like when the left comes after somebody, it is more about, hey, I don't think you're being respectful enough of other people having the right to live the way they live. And like, do you see a distinction, especially as someone who, based on your special, has faced a fair amount of attacks on not being like everybody else?
Yeah. To be fair, as far as I know, the right hasn't gone after dwarves yet, but
well,
give
listen,
them time.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
You're not that far behind. You're not that far behind the Jews. It doesn't. It goes trans, maybe then a couple trans Jews, maybe 2 other people between us, and then you're up.
Yeah. Damn it. Okay. All right. The thing is yes, I do absolutely see a distinction. I also want to make sure, because I've got family, and they are definitely right wing, and they are definitely good people. And I never want someone to say one part about their personality and then me think that I know absolutely everything about them and can judge absolutely everything about them. And like, oh, okay, do they love their families? Do they pay their taxes? Yes, we disagree on some things. As long as they're not actively trying to hurt me or some people, like, then we can talk. Now, if they're doing that, then no, I can't. But so I never want to go on stage and just say, here, if you believe this one thing or if you voted for this one person, then fuck you, get out. I want to have those conversations, and because I feel like that mentality is why so many people aren't getting along, is that they find out one part about someone's personality and they immediately dismiss everything else they have to say.
One thing that I found moving about the special is I think you joke a lot about having dwarfism.
Sure.
But it clearly, by the time you get to the end of the special, when you talk about the fact that your daughter has dwarfism, there is anger and fear there. You clearly are. The jokes are about something that's been a struggle for you.
Yeah.
And you talk about a woman in your wife's life who was kind of
Carol.
Yes. Who was.
I fucking hate this woman. I fucking hate this woman. She's a real person. Okay, and I use her real name. I do not give a shit. All right, if she listens to this podcast, of course she knows I hate her. Like, I don't hide this shit. And if she sues me, great. I want her to sue me. If she sues me, she'll have to prove in court she's not a cunt. Okay, and it's not happening. It's not.
Yeah.
Any judge will side with me.
Right. I mean, it's civil, so it's just preponderance of evidence. So, be careful is all I'm saying. But you talk. I just would like. You said you started out by not joking about it, and you felt like when you weren't joking about it, it was on people's minds.
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit about the challenge of being a comedian with dwarfism, going around the country long before you had a special, when I am sure that, people that come to these things, they're awful.
My favorite, and by favorite I mean most terrifying story like this. I was in Odessa, Texas. Jealous? Of course you are. And I during the show got a heckler, and I dealt with it, but then at some point you have to kick the heckler out, and we did. Rest of the show went great. I go out to the car to drive back to the hotel. It's my opening act driving. I don't drive because obviously. And then we see headlights turn on, and a pickup truck starts careening towards us. A guy leans out the window and just yells out, "Kill the dwarf!" Yeah. And at that moment, I didn't stop and be like, "Hey, thanks for using the correct terminology." Because that wasn't the part that offended me. It was more the kill that I had the problem with. So yeah, I did. So no matter what I do, if I have to talk about it. I have to address it. It's also a point of view that doesn't get addressed much in comedy. It gets made fun of from outsiders, but it never gets talked about like as a person who's living with it. So I have a real opportunity to share with people what it is actually like and what it is like to check into a hotel and everything's cool, and then you look up the shower head and you go, fuck, because it's just straight ahead. Like the shower head is pointed straight ahead, and I don't really want to call the front desk and be like, hey, could you just send someone up and move the shower head down 2 inches? So I end up like climbing up the side. This is how I'm gonna die, by the way. I've seen my death. I'm fixing a shower head. I slip on the bathtub and I go, I fucking knew it. And that's gonna be. So like I have the opportunity to share those kind of stories, so I do. But then at the same time, I know that if I do like 2 dwarf jokes in an act, there will be some people that go, phew, he's using his crutch. It's like, it's not my crutch. It's my life. Like, I don't know how to write the jokes from the perspective of a 6'2" white guy. I don't know how to do that act.
They're not funny. You can't be funny up there.
Yeah. So.
There's no comedy up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Comedy is the opposite of heat. It falls. It doesn't rise.
Comedy
Yes,
lower.
it
Comedy,
falls.
yeah. Comedy's on the
Smart
ground.
joke.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yes. So I just try to write jokes that are authentic to my perspective, and that is my perspective.
Well, before we let you go, speaking of your perspective,
yes,
we're going to end with some questions about whether or not these are the best parts about being a term we're no longer using.
Well,
Short king.
Oh, okay. Fine. It's like there's no good term like for. Because it's like, oh, we're supposed to be called little people. But that sounds condescending as fuck. You know, like, he's a person, just little. You know, and then it's like you're supposed to say dwarf. And thanks to Disney, that's not great. And then the bad one is midget. But to me, that almost sounds nice. Like it sounds like oh, it's my friend. Like, it almost sounds French. Like, my friend is a midget. Like, and that's... But then we're not supposed to use that one, so okay, what do we get called? Short king, and then I've already talked about why I don't like that one. Can we just, right here and now, let's just come up with a new term for little people that all dwarves will just totally hop on board on? Like, I don't know, like, Big Dick Magoos.
Okay.
Just
Big Dick Magoos.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I don't want to put myself in a position of doing the naming. I think that's not appropriate. Your job. I think I have to leave that to you. If
so we'll just go with that.
If you're going with Big Dick Magoos,
yeah.
I would say let's
Female
use it
dwarves
for,
are pissed, but okay, we'll get to that.
Right. Sure. So there's an intersectional element yet to be worked out. All right. Is this? Here are these, yes or no? It's called Short and Sweet, and it's
Short and Sweet.
I forgot that we're calling this segment Short and Sweet. We're good. We're next to the fucking bug from A Bug's Life.
Yeah,
terrific.
I like how they photoshopped appropriately. They could have made us the same height. They're like, nah, let's just keep Brad the shortest one still.
All right, but yes or no? Do you consider this an advantage?
Okay.
If you're bald, everyone can see, so you're forced to emotionally confront it and deal with it, which benefits the short as people.
Why do you think I wear a fucking hat?
All right.
Because I'm balding.
So
I'm not. I'm running away from it.
Can use capri pants as regular pants.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Cheaper.
It
was just kind of awkward because there was a trend at one point, and it's still out there a little bit, but like dudes buy these like pants, but then they like zip off into shorts because like, What if you're out in the wilderness and you have to traverse a river? Of course, you're just gonna zip off because that happens to all of us. And then when that trend was going on, I bought one because I was like, yeah, I want that. But then after all the tailoring, I just had pants that zipped off into pants.
If a hot, tall person wants to date you, it's because of your kind soul, excellent sense of humor, and palpable sexual charisma, and that feels pretty good.
No, sometimes it's a fetish, and I'm totally okay with that. I love how people, like, I'm married now, but, like, back in my single days, people be like, she's only fucking you because you're a dwarf. Great! Why is that a problem? Why? What? Like, is the orgasm not as good? Like, I'm being exploited. Like, I don't know. That's fine. It's fine. I don't get it.
It's sort of like fetish is to, sexual attraction what cult is to religion. It's just like a fetish is just something that caught on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fine. Like, so you're into something and you're not hurting anybody, and everyone involved is a consenting adult, awesome. Go fucking nuts.
All right, next, there's nothing quite like drinking your morning dew out of an acorn cap. We're getting to the ones we were worried about pitching.
I like that your people turned me into a character from Fern Gully.
Yeah.
You really know how old you are if you laughed at that joke.
Love Fern Gully. And
Yeah.
when we also first saw Fern Gully, and then that's it. We fixed the rainforest.
Yep.
You never have to worry about the blanket being too short to cover your toes.
That's pretty great. That I'm not gonna lie. That one's pretty sweet. And like I could fall asleep on this couch. It's fine. It's fine.
Cool.
Any ottoman will do. You see a chest of drawers, I see bunk beds.
And finally, you can never punch down.
I'm still working on that.
All right.
I will find a way.
And that's the beauty of it. And that's the beauty of it. Guys, give it up for Brad Williams. You can check out his special, Starfish, streaming exclusively on Beeps. When we come back, it's time for The Wheel.